Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to another installment of The Inner Circle with me as your host, Alicia Courtney. And on today's show, we have a very special guest with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to give a warm welcome to the new UFN Heavyweight Champion, Anthony Ragone. Anthony, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Alicia. Thank you for that. It's good to be here.
Absolutely no problem. It is indeed my pleasure to have you on the show. So you must really be reeling from last night, aren't you?
It was a night to remember, that's for sure. I'm still in disbelief that it actually happened. It's been so long.
How long exactly?
4 years since I returned to UFN.
Oh wow. So you've been really reaching for this moment.
For a very long time. For a very, very long time.
So just how long have you been in UFN?
Since near the beginning. I was here when Luke Luger was still the CEO. I was here for the transition between Luke and Bobby. I've seen everything grow from what it was to what it is now. It's been quite the shock to see what it is now compared to back then.
Care to explain the differences?
I think the biggest differences was back then it was more of like your underground fight ring sort of deal. You threw two people in the cage, and they just beat the holy hell out of each other. And every now and then some gold was wrapped around your waist. But now there's a lot more layers to it. This place has grown by no small measure. It's to be where I'm at today with what it is now. It's a bigger moment now than it would have been back then.
Understandable. So, hearing how long you've been here, and you mentioned that you've seen the power change between Bobby and his father Luke, correct?
Yes.
So, knowing Bobby and how he is, that couldn't have been an easy journey for you.
I've never had an issue with how Bobby does things. He's a businessman. This is a business, and he started treating it like a business. That's no shot at Luke, because what he had here was special. It set the foundation, but Bobby expanded on it and made it more desirable for a younger audience to be in a younger talent pool to want to come in and be that next person.
Sounds like Bobby's not a hard ass all the time.
It's a respect thing. He does his business. I work for him. There's
you
only
do your
so
job.
much. I do my job. Exactly. I go in and I do what's asked of me, and I don't ask questions. If I have questions, I'm always given a straight up answer.
So, because it is my job to ask the really nosy, the really gritty questions, I have this one special question for you, Mr. Ragone.
Lay it on me.
How does it feel to be a UFN champion along with your buddy, Crazy J?
It's honestly, with the final chapter, it was nothing new. I knew he was going to be put into a spot like that eventually. And Jay and I have even battled over this very title that I have. Like, we battled quite a number of times, actually. But again, that was before the growth. That was before the expansion. To see him accomplish the same thing I did on the same night, with how much this place has grown, it was a special night, and I was truly happy for him, because I know things haven't been exactly easy for him lately as well. So to see him accomplish that, it 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 got me a little emotional. Yeah, just like winning this title here got me emotional. There's a lot of drinks, a lot of after partying, and celebrations.
That is completely understandable. It's only natural to want to celebrate after a victory, correct?
Absolutely, especially one like this.
And might I say that I watched your match last night, and that title looks amazing around your waist.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Something I've worked for a long time.
Well deserved. Well deserved. What can we expect next from you?
As I stated in my post-match interview last night, I'm going to keep fighting as long as my mother's fighting cancer, and as long as as long as she's fighting this illness, I'm going to fight for this title, tooth and nail. I don't care who it is you put in front of me. My conviction is clear. I'm going to hold this title as long as it takes to show that I'm still fighting for her, just like she's fighting for herself.
I really admire that answer. That was beautiful. Beautifully said. I don't think I could have said it better myself.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sorry to hear that your mother is going through that. So, question. Do you have any dream opponents in the UFN? Like, someone you would love to fight?
That's a steep question. There's so much good talent that I've never had the honor or pleasure to share the ring with, or the cage with.
Okay, so let's make it a little easier. So why don't you name 3 people who you would love to have a dream match with?
I wouldn't mind letting Victor Vent Hill get a crack at a rematch for this title, considering he had to go in there already wore down from a tag team title match. I wouldn't mind mixing it up with APH again. I know this was something that meant a lot to him as well, and he was looking forward to potentially making history by unifying the WOW and the UFN Heavyweight title. And I think those opportunities shouldn't be squandered. And as a fighting champion, I welcome that sort of thing, because he has a conviction as well. And I don't want to fight anybody who isn't at their best.
Okay, so that's 2. You got one more?
One man in mind. It'd be someone that isn't necessarily here anymore, but if I could coerce him out of retirement, the one man I think I would want to face would be the man that leads the final chapter, and that's Seth Brawl.
Okay. I don't believe I've had the pleasure of meeting him.
One of the longest reigning light heavyweight title holders in UFN.
Oh wow!
The title that Jay holds, he kind of set the standard for that title, and I want to see him gain a pound. I want to see him gain 5 pounds, and I would love it to have him standing across the cage from me and us go to war.
So, Anthony, because Bobby pays me to pick at your brain and find out what's going on in there, I'm gonna do what I get paid to do, you know? So
Lay
I've
it
got a
on me.
really I've got a really interesting question for you. How how do you feel about the attack on APH from K9? Was that something that threw you off a bit, or
Despicable. It's like I said before, Alicia. Whenever there's a moment to be made in UFN, because that's what Bobby Legend is. He's a moment maker. He's been that way for the many years that I've known him now. He's a moment maker, and he presented an opportunity for a moment to be made, and it was snuffed away. Did it throw me off my game a little bit? A little, only a slightly, because I was worried about having to fight two opponents last night at H.O.P 90. But when APH was declared unfit to fight, I had to shift gears to a one-on-one match. I knew I had to press him. I knew he was going to be tired from his match prior to the world title match, or the World Heavyweight Championship match, excuse me. I knew I had to bring the fight to him. Otherwise, it was going to be bad for me. The longer I let him catch his breath, it was going to be bad for me.
do you feel that this will make APH a bit deadlier when he comes back around?
Absolutely. Like I said, he's got conviction now. He's got more motive than ever. And, you know, it's I know what APH is capable of. I mean, I've already lost to the guy, and I know what he's capable of. I've known APH since he first started in this business, God, 6 years ago, maybe. And, you know, he's a dangerous competitor, especially when he's got his mind set on something. But like I said, those moments can't be squandered in the UFN, especially not when Bobby runs the show. When those opportunities are presented, you see them through. If the moment's made, then great. If I'm able to do my job and uphold my end of the bargain, then I will be able to be the one that prevents him from making that moment. But it will be in a one-on-one scenario where that's the stipulation.
So one last question before we close out. Do you have anything that you would like to say to anyone, or any positive messages that you would like to leave to the new generation coming into UFN?
There is one person I want to thank, and I know Bobby doesn't like to talk about him a whole lot, but if it wasn't for this individual old man just calling me up out of the blue and saying, "Get your ass on the next flight to New York, you're in a fight," I don't think I'd be here today. So my message is this: don't squander opportunities that are granted to you, because when one door closes, it doesn't mean the next door is going to be better. Seize every opportunity as it comes. Make the most of it. Speak it into existence. If you have a goal set in mind, make that your priority. Your dream should be your priority. If your dream is to take this title off of me, write it down on a piece of paper. Manifest it. Put in the work. If your goal is to make $1 million, put it on a piece of paper. How are you going to make that $1 million? You're going to work for it. Don't squander your opportunities. Chase your dreams.
Wow, you certainly know how to get people riled up, don't you?
I've been doing this a long time, and I know what my personal convictions and morals are, and that's my driving force.
I can tell. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show. I know you're a busy man, especially with that gorgeous title around your waist. It looks so good on you, by the way.
Thank you so much, Alicia, and it was my pleasure. When the boss calls, you can't really ignore that phone call. So I'm happy to be here, and It was a great experience. I appreciate it.
I would love to have you back again.
Absolutely. Just shoot me a call.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here first. This has been another installment of The Inner Circle with me as your host, Alicia Portman. Until next time, ta-ta!